Good day, everyone. I am Ledja Faith D. Kahana, and together with Mr. Celsus Perez, we would tackle about gender and sexuality as a psychosocial issue. Before anything else, let's answer about what these sentences defines. First, it refers to the characteristics of women, men, girls, and boys that are socially constructed. Any guesses? Correct, it's gender. For the second one, it is about your sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards other people. You may now answer. Sexuality is correct. Let's move forward to the objectives. First, to understand the definition of psychosocial and its dimensions. Second, to identify the psychosocial issues and its impact to an individual. Next, to determine how to reach the state of well-being. And lastly, to differentiate productive and reproductive roles. I'm looking forward that we could achieve these objectives. So, may I call on Mrs. Perez to give us knowledge about psychosocial.
Thank you, Ms. Kahana. Okay, first, let's determine what is psychosocial. So, from the two words collided, psychological and social, so it involves the two of them. It also relates social condition to mental health, psychosocial medicine. Examples of psychosocial factors are social support, loneliness, marriage status, social disruption, bereavement, work, environment, social status, and social integration. Next is psychosocial dimensions. So it focuses more on school climate, wherein how the student must function. The psychosocial management is influenced by these. First, student factors. If they would have good relationship with their classmates, the way of learning would be more fun. Second, teacher factors. It is necessary to have an effective teacher to foster better learning. Next, peer factors. If they would have a positive peer, they can be more motivated and interactive. Lastly, family factors. It is first institution where we should learn to communicate properly and to build our self-esteem or a positive self-concept. Positive concepts includes body image and ideal self. Our environment and especially ourselves can provide courage to attain those. With that, it will give us happiness and success. Intrapsychic theory by Sigmund Freud is interrelated to psychosocial since it tackles about the psychological human mind that composed of three elements which are preconscious, conscious, and unconscious. According to him, the unconscious is guided by a reasoned reality principle while the unconscious is guided by the famous hedonistic principle of pleasure. He also developed an organization of personality consisting of three structures within a human mind: the id, the ego, and the superego. These parts of the minds are primarily responsible for originating human actions and reactions and modifications. Ms. Khanab, can you discuss the next theory?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Perez. The next theory is concerned with social. It is entitled Intrapersonal Theory, developed by Harry Sullivan. It tackles how the relationship with others influences one's personality. It determines their sense of security, sense of self, and the dynamism that motivate their behavior. For Sullivan, personality is the product of a long series of stages in which the individual gradually develops good feeling toward others and the sense of a good self toward himself or herself. The individual also learns how to ward off anxiety and correct distorted perceptions of other people, learns to verify his or her ideas through consensual validation, and above all seeks to achieve effective interpersonal relationships on a mature level. Next, let's discuss about psychosocial issues. Do you know that these difficulties can be experienced in any level of age? As we observe, adolescents are more vulnerable to psychosocial problems. Why? Because of physical and psychological changes that occur in their body during their developmental stage. Psychosocial problems such as behavioral, emotional, and educational problems are highly prevalent among children and adolescents. They are vulnerable to psychosocial dysfunction when they suffer from physical injuries, psychological trauma, or major changes in their environment, especially in the absence of strong support system. This period is critical times for developing of their good mental health. Mrs. Perez will further explain the theories.
Thank you, Ms. Kahana. Now let's move forward to relationship and intimacy. An American psychologist, Robert Sternberg, developed the triangle theory of love, describing the components of love in the context of relationship. The first component is intimacy, which brings a sense of closeness to another person, whether it is a good friend or a parent. Intimacy creates a link that binds two people. Some people describes love as a warm feeling you get and you want to move closer. So that's something or someone that emits those vibes. As human, social interaction is crucial for our survival. Hence, we form a relationship with others, and the byproduct of it is love. The next theory about intimacy is Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, where the sixth stage is about intimacy versus isolation. The main conflict at this stage of life is forming intimate, loving relationship with other people. Success at this stage leads to satisfying relationship. Struggling at this stage, on the other hand, can lead to feeling of loneliness and isolation. From the psychosocial issues, let's determine how can we achieve to be a well-being. Ms. Kahana, can you give us the information?
Yes, a well-being as a psychological goal incorporates the physical, economic, social, mental, emotional, cultural, and spiritual determinants of health. According to the East African Community 2019, psychosocial well-being involves developing cognitive, emotional, and spiritual strength among individuals, families, and communities, which create overall positive social relationships among them. This state of well-being motivates the development of life skills, which enables individuals, families, or communities to understand and engage with their environment and make a healthy living. There are 8 dimensions of well-being. CSU Pueblo recognizes the importance of your well-being. If any one of these dimensions is neglected over time, it will adversely affect one's health, well-being, and quality of life. A well-rounded balance of these wellness dimensions provides holistic harmony to one's personal well-being. First is emotional well-being. Emotional wellness encompasses the knowledge and skills to identify personal feelings and the ability to handle those emotions. National Institutes of Health describe this emotional wellness as the ability to successfully handle life stresses and adapt to change in difficult times. Second, physical dimension. It encompasses all areas of health that relate to physical aspects of the body, including nutrition, exercise, weight management, ergonomics, tobacco use, disease prevention, and more. Third, occupational. It encompasses all aspects of well-being pertaining to personal satisfaction in your job or career. Fourth, social. It encompasses all aspects of well-being pertaining to social connections, relationship, and personal expressions. Fifth, spiritual. It encompasses all aspects of well-being pertaining to the search of purpose and meaning in life. This may include the belief in a higher power, but spiritual wellness does not have to be aligned with a religion. 6. Intellectual. It encompasses all aspects of well-being pertaining to the brain health and growth via thought-provoking mental activities. Next, environment. It includes eco-friendly considerations, active participation in recycling, and proper disposal of electronics and medicine, energy, fuel, and water conservation, and the use of sustainable products. Lastly, financial. It encompasses all aspects of well-being pertaining to finance, including knowledge and skills of financial planning and managing expenses. Mrs. Perez will discuss the difference of reproductive and productive roles.
Yes, to proceed, reproductive roles, including childbearing, rearing responsibilities, and domestic roles, usually performed by women who are required to reproduce and maintain the labor force. Although these roles are actually work, they are, however, differentiated from what is understood as productive because performing these roles are not recognized as work. As such, work in this category is unpaid. These tasks are not reflected in the country's GDP or GNP, while productive roles compromise work done by both women and men that generate income in cash and or in kind and have an exchange value. Therefore, reproductive is unpayable and productive is payable. Hence, community roles are undertaken primarily by women at the community level as an extension of their reproductive roles to maintain scarce resources of collective consumption such as water, healthcare, and education.
Thank you, Ms. Faye. Thus, that's all for our report. You can direct message us if you have certain questions regarding the topic. So, we'll leave you a quote by Melanie Rosso that states, "You will often feel as if you don't fit, but it has never been your destiny to fit in. You were born to stand out. That's why keep your light shining." That's all. Thank you.